Good evening. Welcome to the Cosumnes Fire Department Recruitment webinar. I'm Assistant Chief Josh Freeman. I'm the training chief here at Cosumnes Fire Department. We're very excited to be able to bring this platform to you this evening and share some information about our organization. With me this evening, I've got the Academy Director, Captain Nick Santini.
Welcome.
Additionally, I brought Captain Julie Ryder.
Hi there.
And firefighter Ulysses Pena.
How's it going, folks?
This evening, we're going to start our presentation with Captain Ryder. Captain Ryder, please take it away.
Good evening. I'm Captain Ryder, and I'm a 22-year firefighter, and I am very committed to our department's recruitment efforts, and I hope to help all of you realize your dream of becoming a firefighter. So tonight I want to talk a little bit about our amazing fire department. Some of you might already live in our area or have family or friends that have provided you details about our department, but I'd like to share with you a little bit of information about our great organization. Let's start with the CSD. The CSD, Cosumnes Community Service District, serves an area of 175 square miles and a population of 205,000 residents in our diverse community. Our community service district provides fire protection, emergency medical services to both the cities of Elk Grove and Galt. We are governed by a board of directors who are selected by the community, and they are responsible for approving policies, planning of operation, and administration to our facilities and different activities that we have in the community. We also have beautifully landscaped parks that offer many amenities to the citizens of Elk Grove. And lastly, I need to mention that we are the largest community service district in the state of California. Now on to what you're really interested in our fire department. We are considered an all-risk fire department, which means we're trained and specialize in mitigation of all incidents. That can include structure fires, wildland fires, vehicle accidents, urban search and rescue, medical aids, medical transports, hazardous materials, swift water rescue, as well as flood response. We have 8 fire stations within our district, and 6 of those are in Elk Grove, and 2 of those are in the community of Galt. We have 8 fire engines and 8 ambulances that are housed at those fire stations, and they all are transporting ambulances within our community. If you've ever visited the Station 74 in Laguna, we have a truck and heavy rescue unit complement, as well as a fire engine and an ambulance in that house. During wildland season, we also have staffed and cross-staffed our wildland units, which are type 3s, and a complement of type 5s. We are also heavily involved in the community or the California mutual aid system in the state of California. We have 2 OES units that are a type 1 and a type 3, which we staff. And you might have seen that all the major wildfires that have happened throughout the state, we have had our engines on those for months. We have a state-of-the-art training facility that I hope one day that you get to come and experience with our training academy. So that's what I have for you tonight about our agency. And now I'd like to introduce you to firefighter Ulysses Pena, and he's going to speak on the hiring process.
All right, how's it going, folks? So just a little bit about the hiring process. Application deadline is November 1st. So you have to be on the state eligibility list on FCTC by the 1st. That means you have to have the written exam completed by then. Application completed, so go and submit it, and then interviews are scheduled to be between the 16th and the 20th of November. Then and you have to have your CPAC card in hand by then. First, you're going to do an in-person oral interview, and that's going to be with a panel of different individuals from different ranks within our department. Can rank from either from a captain, engineer, and firefighter. Pretty much these are your standard firefighter questions, interview questions. If you don't know what those are, you can go ahead and Google them. There's plenty of them online. My suggestion to you for this preparation process is to practice. If you have somebody that's in the fire service already, ask them to do some mock interviews with you. That definitely helps out immensely. All in-person interviews will be conducted with COVID-19 precautions. After that, if you are selected, you will be contacted. You'll be selected to do the assessment, skills assessment. This is an EMS scenario, and this is going to be based on the National Registry, AHA guidelines, ACLS guidelines, and some SAC County protocols. All going to be, it's dependent on the applicant, whether it's ALS or BLS. That will be your EMS assessment, skills assessment. My suggestion to you there is to practice as well. If you haven't, done a patient assessment in a couple months or even a couple weeks, I definitely suggest that you brush up on that. Contact a buddy that's in the field already or practicing, and just brush up on that. After that, it will be your chief's interview panel. Pretty much this, for my interview, it was 3 chiefs. It could be different, I don't know, but pretty much your chief's interview panel, once you minute to hear, it's if you haven't experienced this before, it's pretty much just like they want to get to know you more on a personal level. They might throw you a couple other firefighter questions at you, but this is more of your, we just want to get to know you a little more, and we want to see if, we want to work with you for the next 30 years. So there's definitely a more personal, a deeper interview, deeper conversation that you have with the chiefs. After that, if you're so lucky to get a conditional offer from us, you'll be contacted via phone by our chief and saying congratulations, we want to offer you a conditional offer, and from that you'll be into the background process. Going back to the chief interviews and the panel interviews, make sure to work on those closing statements. You always are given a chance at the end of the interview if you want to say anything or add anything at the end. By that, they mean all previous questions are free game. So if you feel like you were short on one of your answers, go ahead and add more to your answer to a specific question, and come up with the closing statement and make it strong. You want to leave a lasting impression on these folks. Going to the backgrounds. Backgrounds is you will be sent a packet by a background investigator. You'll fill out the packet, references, previous employers, any background history that you have. Then you will do a medical eval. Have to go, pretty much it's a doctor's appointment, and do kind of like a cardiac eval test and stuff. And then you'll be asked to do a psych eval. And after that will be the background interview with your investigator. And from there, I'll hand it over to Captain Nick Santini.
Hey, thanks, Pena. Like Ulysses said, my name's Nick Santini. I'm a captain here. I've been with the Cosumnes Fire Department for almost 15 years. I have almost 20 years in the fire service. The academy is something I'm really passionate about. This will be my 3rd academy, first time as a director. I was an instructor for the previous 2 academies. And just to give you an overview of what we do with our academies, it's a 24-week comprehensive academy. And what I mean by that is we cover everything we expect you to know on the fire side. We don't expect you to come in with much fire background. We're going to teach you. And importantly, we're going to teach you our way and how we expect you to do it. So like I said, 24 weeks. The academy generally runs most weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays off, and then Thursday, Friday. There are some weeks where we will run a 5-day week, and that might be predominantly for the type of class we're putting on, maybe rescue systems or something like that. It takes a full 5-day week, 8 hours a day. Your normal routine is you show up at 0700 in the morning. Hopefully before that, so you're ready to go by 0700. We start off our day every day with PT, and that's a program that's developed internally. We kind of start off slow, ramp up, and get you physically fit by the time you're out of this academy. You are ready to hit the stations mentally, physically, and with the knowledge that we expect you to have by the time you finish that 24 weeks. So PT, pretty important. After that, you get cleaned up, you meet you in the classroom. We go over lecture for the day, generally in the mornings, and then we hit the drill grounds in the afternoon until the end of the day. And so a lot of the topics we cover, there's a lot of the state fire marshal classes like Rescue Systems 1, driver operator, will give you that in this academy. But the other stuff, we're going to teach you how to pull hose our way. We're going to teach you our hose loads. We're going to teach you fire attack, fire behavior, fire dynamics. And one of the really cool things that we do in this organization is we use virtual reality or VR for the fire behavior portion. We did that with the 19-1 Academy. We found that it was pretty beneficial for the recruits. They were able to actually look at what the fire's doing and not worried about what's going on in the flash can or the real life trainer. They're not worried about their own safety at that point. They're able to look at what the fire's doing. And we're going to do that for the 21 Academy. We're going to teach you firefighter survival and RIC. We're going to teach you VES, all these great things so that you're prepared. Like I said, day one, when you're in the station, you have the knowledge, you have the tools to be successful in your career as a firefighter. So I think that's about all I have, and I'm going to turn it back over to Pena.
All righty. I just realized that I forgot to introduce myself. So this is, my name is Ulysses Pena. I was in the 18-1 Academy. So I've been here with Cosumnes for about 2 years. Prior to that, worked for CAL FIRE for a couple seasons. And a little fun fact that my first day as a working medic was here in this department. So a little nerve wracking, but I mean, got the best training and very, very, very happy where I'm at right now. One thing that I forgot to mention about the hiring process is right before the academy, you'll have a night, we call it family night. So you and your significant others can come and pretty much they give you a quick rundown of what Captain Nick Santini told you and what to expect. So we're going to move on to now you've completed the academy and now you're on probation. So congratulations for completing the academy. So you will be assigned a station and you'll be assigned to that station for 6 months. And while you're assigned to that station for the first 10 shifts, you will be what we call the FTO time or 10 shift. And that's where you will be assessed for particularly the medics on your EMS skills, your assessments, your paramedic skills and whatnot. After that time, you're pretty much will be dropped into, after your 10 shift, you'll pretty much fall into the rotation of the station. Every station is different on how they do the rotation from the medic to the engine. But roughly comes out to be about 2/3 of your time will be on the medic, rotating on and off the medic. After that, 6 months are up. You come up to your 6-month testing. It'll be both a firefighting and an EMS skills test. The EMS portion is obviously your patient it'll be an EMS scenario, patient assessment, EMS skills, and then the firefighter will be some kind of firefighter scenario using a lot of the firefighting skills that you were taught in the academy. As well, during this time, you will be expected to know policies and procedures from our department, along with some guidelines as well. You will be tested on those. And then the goal of this 6-month test is to identify if you are falling short in any specific area. Most common area that a lot of people fall short in, where probationary firefighters fall short in, is the EMS. Particularly the patient assessing and scenarios. So that's those shortcomings will be addressed, and we'll come up with some kind of training regimen to help you improve, and that way you can complete your probationary period and become the most successful firefighter within our department. So for the second half of your probation, you'll be rotated to another station, pretty much just to get that exposure to different parts of our district, different crew members. We've done in the past where you stay on the same shift, you just change a different station. Same thing at the end of those 6 months, it's now 12 months, you will be administered another firefighter skill test and EMS test as well. After you're done with those, then congratulations, you're now a full-time firefighter with Cosumnes Fire Department, and you're now a rookie, no longer a probie. So that's about it.
All right. Thanks, Captain Santini, Captain Ryder, and Ulysses. Appreciate the help with this. We've been fielding a few questions here. We had a few prior to this evening's webinar. Some I did reply to via email, and the rest of them I kind of wrote down. In the background, I've got one of our other battalion chiefs, Battalion Chief Dan Quiggle. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Q&A board, but he's been trying to type in some answers just so that we make sure that we capture everybody. But I will voice as many of these questions and answers as we can, just to kind of share that information openly with you guys. One of the big questions that I've gotten is station visits. And though we absolutely understand, appreciate, and honestly wish that you guys could come by and visit us, we love our organization. We'd love to show it off to you and help you get prepared for this endeavor. But unfortunately, with the current COVID situation and the social distancing things that we need to be concerned about, we've had to limit that. Limit was a poor choice of terms here. We've had to actually stop allowing that to take place within our stations, that as well as ride-alongs. We've been able to address some student issues as far as that's concerned, but just public coming for visiting, we really had to kind of cut that out. If that does change during this process or before we get going, we will try to get that information out to you as soon as possible. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the likelihood of that taking place prior to the interviews is slim to none. And that is part of the reason why we have put this on for you guys this evening. With that, a follow-up question to that could be with the COVID concerns and social distancing, is how are we going to be doing the oral interviews? At this time, we are absolutely planning on doing those interviews on an in-person status, absolutely with COVID-19 social distancing and precautions taking place during that process. If you are invited to the process here at the Cosumnes Fire Department, you will be getting information from our Human Resources Department. Within that documentation, within the invitation to interview, there will be some guidelines on how to enter the property and basically step by step. We're not going to make you guess on how this process is going to go. Moving right along, I've had some questions regarding paramedics, EMTs, preference points for people in paramedic school. Currently, we are advertising, we are recruiting for firefighter paramedics and firefighter EMTs. All of our information that we have posted, the way our organization works, the paramedic portion is preferred. Also preferred is Firefighter 1 Academy or have been part of an intern program. However, as Captain Santini mentioned within his presentation, zero experience as a firefighter is acceptable. We'll teach you that. We would like you to be an experienced paramedic. However, we understand that not everybody has had an opportunity to get out there and ride on an ambulance and go honk honk woo woo. We do get that, and we also understand that there's a possibility that we're going to have a majority or a partial EMT academy. So that is for us to figure out, which also addresses another question that just popped up a little bit ago, is how many EMTs we're hiring. These numbers have not been determined right now, hence why we were opened the recruitment for both EMTs and paramedics. An interesting question came along as far as the academy. You know what? I've actually have a couple questions that I'm going to punt to Captain Santini. Captain Santini, if you would address a question I spoke with you about earlier, the resident versus non-resident academy, and then the second question I'll have you address is signing up for special response teams. I believe I spoke with you about that one earlier.
Yeah. So good questions. This is a non-resident academy. Academy hours generally are from 0700, as I mentioned, and I neglected to mention that academy generally is closes for business at 1730. We're done for the day and you're free to go home at that point. So hopefully that clears that up. As far as special response teams, yeah, those are open to you after you have completed probation. So essentially the main special response team we have in our organization is we have what's called a rescue technician. And that's somebody that is assigned to our Station 74. They have to have completed a series of classes, RS1, RS2, trench rescue, confined space, swift water. And once you complete that series of classes, you can petition for entry into the rescue technician program, and then you're able to work at Station 74. That station's a bid process. There is no guarantees that you're going to be part of that rescue team. So hopefully that answers that one. Also, as Captain Ryder mentioned, we are heavily involved in the mutual aid system in California. We do have the 2 OES rigs, and we frequently send out local government response engines as well. During your first 6 months on probation, you are not allowed to go out on a strike team. After that 6-month period, you have good evaluations, everything's going well, that opens up to you. But the main focus, at least while you're on probation, is we want you focusing on probation. And after that, we love when people are engaged in the job, want to go out and seek more knowledge and really make this into a craft. So, yeah.
All right, thanks, Captain Santini. A couple more questions have popped up here. I'm trying to grab as many of these as we can. Just so you guys are aware, if this webinar winds up getting cut short before your answer is, or before your question is answered, we do have some stuff going on in the background where we will have the ability to email replies to some of these questions that we don't get answered. We're going to do our best right now, though, for sure. So a question that we received was, does Cosumnes Fire Department sponsor paramedic students? So, i.e., if you were hired as an EMT, would we sponsor you to go to paramedic school? That is something that is absolutely on our radar, and we are in communications with our local college. It's something that our local 522, our local union, is interested in, is helping our young firefighters become paramedics if they so choose to do so. So it is something that is absolutely on our radar. Unfortunately, right now, we have not figured out all the ins and outs of that program and what it looks like for Cosumnes Fire Department. I do see that in our very near future is the ability to sponsor and send some of our folks to become paramedic later on if they so choose. A couple questions related directly to this process. One of them, I believe it was worded somewhere along the lines of what is the expected knowledge of the Sacramento County protocols for the testing process. That is listed as one of the things you need to have knowledge of for the EMS scenario. We do absolutely understand that there are folks that are going to be coming in to test with this organization that are not Sacramento County residents, that do not work in this area and do not have a knowledge of those protocols. If you'll notice, it says National Registry information, ACLS information, Sacramento County protocols. All of these are relatively similar. And by that, I mean, if you are following some sort of a path through the testing process, we are not here to trick you. We want people to be successful. We want people to be successful in our testing process. If you are following some sort of a path, some sort of a protocol that is in alignment with National Registry, with American Heart, and or our Sacramento County protocols, and you are able to explain that path that you were headed down at the end. Our EMS division is very on top of this. They're very on top of all these different protocols and methods. So, Nick, you think I grabbed that one good enough?
Yeah, I think you answered that really well. It's, we like to see Sac County protocols, obviously, because we're in Sacramento County, but we also realize there's going to be many people that are applying here from outside counties. And like Chief Freeman said, if you can articulate where you're going, what your thought process is, you do have that opportunity at the end. So if we can see your line of thinking and you can explain it to us, I think you'll be successful.
Continuing on, a question about the CPAT versus the written with FCTC. This has been addressed a couple times, and I know it can be a little confusing, especially for those of you that are new into the fire testing process and how this works. FCTC is the testing agency that we use, that a lot of agencies actually use to help find applicants for hiring processes. There are two tests involved with SCTC. There is the written test, which gets you on the statewide eligibility list, and then there is the CPAT test, which is the physical agility test. For Cosumnes Fire Department, you must have done both of these tests. The written test must be completed, and you must be on the statewide eligibility list prior to the close of the application process, which is midnight on November 1st. Okay, so you must be on that list prior to midnight, November 1st. We are going to pull that list the next morning. So that's where that time frame came from. To expand a little bit on the CPAT, FCTC has been working really hard to add some more testing dates and times. They realize there's a lot of organizations out there hiring right now. We've reached out and told them that we would like to get as many applicants as we possibly can. They are bending over backwards to try to add some test dates and times for everybody. With that being said, we do understand that there are some folks that may or may not be able to get into a CPAT test. And we did see that there was a couple of them that came out between the close of our application process and the day of the oral interviews, or the week of the oral interviews. When you are successful with the CPAT process, they actually issue you an ID card with your picture on it and everything. It is very easy for us to verify when you show up here. So what we essentially did was allowed an additional 2 weeks to try to find someplace to take the CPAT test, knowing that when you showed up for your interview, you could present your CPAT card, your CPAT ID card, and we could verify right there on the spot that you were successful in that process. Keep in mind that we will not be able to invite you to an interview process if you are not on the statewide eligibility list. I hope that clears it up. While I'm kind of on that topic, this is the flyer that you guys should be looking for, and I should have had this on my screen so I could share this to you. This is a 4-ish page document. There are links to it on our Cosumnes CSD website. You can get to it through the CSD website and get through it through the Cosumnes Fire Department website. Julie, I believe that did finally make it up on Facebook as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's
Okay.
on the Facebook page.
Okay, so this again, here's the cover. This is what this thing looks like, and it has the current cutoff date of November 1st, 2020. If you read that document very carefully, it absolutely spells out the CPAT, the FCTC testing, and things to look for throughout this process, how you will be notified, who's going to be notifying you, and it even goes on to talk about the testing times, when we're going to be doing this, so that you can pre-plan, try to make sure you're not out of town when we're going through this testing process. All right, let me kind of take a peek over here for questions and answers and see what we've got open. Chief Quiggle, if you're on and you would like to mention a couple things, you've been watching the question board more than I have. Is there something I need to address real quick?
I think we're doing good. I'm trying to type answers to the incoming questions as best I can. There's kind of a mix of questions about the hiring process, FCTC and the CPAT, as well as just some of the conditions of employment for the academy and probation. So we have, I think, 5 unanswered questions at the moment, 14 that have been answered in writing. If people open the Q&A tab, they should be able to see that.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me see if I can get a couple. Okay. While I'm on a little bit of a break here, if you notice up on the screen, Captain Santini, Captain Ryder, and I just promoted you, Ulysses. Congratulations. And Firefighter Pena, were gracious enough to add their email addresses here for you. So if you guys had some burning questions that we weren't able to address this evening, you could send an email, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Keep in mind that we are active firefighters. We are actively engaged in the training, EMS, and operations division. So if we don't get back to you within the next 5 minutes, just be a little patient with us. Couple little things, some questions that I saw here real quick. How many years does a firefighter need to be in the seat to promote to engineer captain? Very much laid out within our contract, our union contract and stuff within this organization. Here at Cosumnes Fire, you must be a firefighter for 3 years. And Nick, you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a little while, but 3 years to take the captain's exam, or excuse me, the engineer's exam, and 5 to take the captain's exam.
Off the top of my head, that's correct.
Okay, perfect. Let's see, when interviewing, what are we looking for in a trainee? You know what, at the end of the day, we're and I think I honestly speak, and ladies and gents, please jump in and add to this as you see fit. I think I speak for the profession as a whole, not just Cosumnes Fire Department. When we're interviewing firefighters, we're not looking for trainees. We're looking for firefighters. We are looking for our brothers and sisters to live in the stations with us. So things that we're looking for is morals, ethics, honesty, somebody who wants to be part of a team, somebody who wants to be part of something bigger than themselves, selflessness. Those are just some terms that just come right off the top of my head. We're not looking for students. We're looking for people to join our family. So we take this very seriously. If you'll notice, it is a little after 7 o'clock, and there's a handful of us that are here off duty. And we are here because we want to help you guys out. We want to make you guys as successful as possible. Please, Nick, Julie, Ulysses, you got anything?
The biggest two words that come to mind when what we're looking for: integrity and work. So, do you have integrity? Do you hold yourself to a standard? And are you willing to work? Those are the people that we want. People that are out there that are willing to serve our citizens as if they were a member of their family or somebody they truly cared about. That's what we want here.
Agreed.
I can speak real quick, Chief.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, I will just second everything that Chief Freeman and Captain Santini said. We're looking for, we're looking to find people that we're going to work with for the next, for the rest of your career and the rest of our career too. So, 25 plus years or 20 or so years. So we're looking for someone that can fit within our department, our organization. One of the terms that comes to my mind is integrity. Doing the right thing when no one's looking, kind of deal. I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, pretty much just, yeah. So, going back to the interview, be yourself. Even in the regular panel interview, when they're asking you the firefighter questions, be yourself. Don't try to make up some story or, BS your way through the question, because we'll be able to see right through that. We want to see the genuine person that we're interviewing. We want to see your personality come through, which is, you can figure out a way to, phrase the answer to best fit your personality and your lifestyle. And we want to see that. And we can definitely tell the difference between those type of people. So that's all I got to say.
We good on that one? Okay. So there's a couple questions here relating to written scores, applications, percentages, things along those lines. And there's a few different questions asked in a few different fashions. So I'm going to try to help you try to answer this the best of my ability. Right now, this is an open recruitment for firefighter paramedics and firefighter EMTs. We are still determining an actual number of people that we plan to take to the interview process. We can only interview so many people per day. We only have so many days to put this on. I am looking at somewhere in the vicinity of 250 applicants is what's going to come to our interview process. With that being said, scores on the FCTC weights to the application process, things along those lines. That stuff is going to be looked at. That is not necessarily how you are going to end up in the process. The way the process works is, as Yuli pointed out to you, it's progressive. You start here and then you move on to the next part and the next part. Essentially what you are doing is you are gaining a ticket to the next event, if you will. When you turn in the application, you go through FCTC, you are successful on the written exam, you become you get listed on the statewide eligibility list, you successfully pass the FCTC, the CPAT test, you turn in your application and you make it through the screening process. Once you get a letter inviting you to the interview process, that is your ticket to that process. We pare it down each process. We take X number of people to the oral panel. We take X number of folks to the EMS scenario, and then X number of folks to the senior chief's interviews. So your success or your ticket to the next one is your success in the prior event. So your application, your FCTC, and your CPAT gets you to the oral board. How you perform in the oral interview will determine your ranking from that spot, and it will invite you to the next spot, or the next event, which is the EMS scenario. Once you get there, you are essentially back to a score of 0. And now you are trying to get the best score that you can to move on. So percentages, rankings, things along those lines. There are some short answers, but at the end of the day, we're trying to find, as we said, we're trying to find the best employees for our organization. So I hope that answers some of the questions. I know that wasn't necessarily exactly what everybody was looking for, but I'm just trying to help you guys out as best I can. Let's see. Applications weighed. If you apply as an EMT, but you receive your paramedic license prior to the start of the academy, will your position be changed? Things like that, we absolutely take on a case-by-case basis. So if that's your intent, I would say absolutely apply as an EMT. That's a smart move. You're working on getting your paramedic license. Apply as an EMT. If you get your medic card in the mail prior to the start of the academy, you let us know, and we'll work through that. Let's see, how many emergencies did the CFD respond to in 2019? We were going to try to get that number. Julie, did we get that number finally?
I did not get that number. It was about 20,000.
I think we were right at that this year, weren't we? 2019.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did see another question up here about bidding stations versus apparatus, and some of this stuff might be way over some of your heads. There are people typing in questions here that are obviously very aware of the fire department and probably some of these organizations in Sacramento County. This question is one of them. Bidding an apparatus versus bidding a station. Here at Cosumnes Fire Department, we bid stations. You will bid a station. Most of our stations are engine and medic houses. As Julie alluded to, we do have an engine medic truck house. We will probably see another one of those within the next handful of years here at Cosumnes Fire Department. But for right now, we're looking at engine and ambulance houses. So by bidding a station versus bidding an apparatus, what that allows us to do is rotate people on and off the ambulance. So all of our units essentially here at Cosumnes Fire Department, at this point in time, all of our units are busy. It doesn't matter whether you're on an engine, medic, or a truck. To be quite honest with you, we're all running calls, but we do like to rotate people off the ambulance, get them some time on the fire engine. So by bidding apparatus, you could in essence have somebody on an ambulance for quite a few years before they get an opportunity to rotate onto the fire engine. So short answer, here at Cosumnes Fire Department, we absolutely bid stations and not apparatus. I think we are running out of time. Chief Quiggle, did you happen to see a question that came up more often than not that we need to address verbally here?
I think probably most important are the questions about the FCTC written and the CPAT exam, and our understanding that those are limited at this time, and we're seeking to get FCTC to add additional written and CPAT tests. Just that we're time limited, like you already said, in our application process. I think those are probably the most consistent questions within the question and answer section.
I would like to say something about that, and I neglected to do so earlier. If you are trying to take the FCTC written test or the CPAT test, and you looked at the FCTC site this morning and you were unable to find a test, check again. Folks, you need to check that site multiple times a day. FCTC, as we said, they have been working really hard to try to put on more test sites and days and times. And as people change, if they change their appointment date and time, appointments open and close legitimately that fast. So just because you looked on there this morning and you did not see a test time, do not give up. Make sure you check that site a couple times a day. And honestly, if it was me and I was looking to get a job in the fire service, and this kind of goes back to one of the questions we had earlier, you know, what type of people are we looking for? We're looking for the people that are going to work, right? They aren't waiting for something to happen to them. They're going to make something happen. Remember, FCTC is not just limited to Sacramento. Okay, there are test sites in Livermore. You can go south. If I wanted a job bad enough and there was an open site in Mexico, for that matter, I would figure out a way to get there on time to take that test. I wish I had more information for you, but I did want to point out the fact that that site changes on a regular basis. Spots open and close. Please, 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 if you're wanting to take the test and come to work here at Cosumnes Fire, check that site multiple times a day. I think that's all I have this evening. So I'm gonna end up my part by, and then I'm gonna give Captain Santini, Captain Ryder, and Firefighter Pena an opportunity to say goodbye as well. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to sit here and speak in front of you guys this evening. Thank you for taking the time out of your night, pre-registering to sign on to this webinar. I truly, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, wish you luck in the process here at Cosumnes Fire Department. And if you are unsuccessful here, I wish you luck at your future endeavors and future testing processes. This is truly, honestly, the greatest profession in the world. So again, thank you for your time this evening. And I'm gonna shut up and let Captain Santini say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. I wish all of you luck. I hope to, someday actually meet many of you. You're on the path. This, like Chief Freeman said, this is the greatest career. This career has given me so much. I can't even fit it in to stories, for hours. But just you're beginning just a great path to a great career. And I wish all of you luck. And thanks for logging on tonight. Have a safe night.
I just want to take a minute and wish all of you well. I remember starting out and taking my first fire tests and how exciting and daunting that task is. And just be prepared, be yourself, and stay motivated, and don't give up, because sometimes it's not the first time, it may not even be the second time, but you need to keep trying and put your best foot forward. And I'm hoping that we're the agency that grabs you. So take care and good luck, and I hope to meet you soon.
All right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you guys and relaying some information. But just to go back to what Chief Freeman said, it all depends on how bad you want the job. I personally drove all the way to Burbank to take the CPAT test. So, and I live in Cameron Park, if any of you know where that is. So I drove all the way down there in one day and made it back. So, and I really wanted the job. So yeah, if you're committed to it, you want it, you know, you go the entire mile to get it. Wish you best of luck in this endeavor, and hope to work with most of you someday. And if you don't make it through, don't get discouraged. I was rejected many times from many different fire departments, but just keep trying, and just take it as a learning experience. Okay, so yeah, that's all I got. So take care, folks.
All right, everybody, thank you. That's going to end our recruitment webinar for this evening. Again, good luck. Have a good night.